What's up, everyone? My name is Truss, and welcome to Culturally Responsive Leadership, where we're working to help you bridge the gap and engineer for equity, starting with leadership. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 interview questions you can use to identify and find your equity warriors. We know what time it is. It's hiring season. And that means that we got to find the right people to put on the bus. And unfortunately, people are not dying to get into public education. And if you work in a hard to fill school or a school with a tough reputation, it's even a little more challenging. The work is not easy. But the one thing you do have on your side is your vision and knowing what right questions to ask. Because truthfully, the people you hire are either going to be tools of social reproduction or social transformation. And we know that our students deserve transformation. Our school systems deserves transformation. So let's talk about how we find those people. What you really want to know is what's at the core? What matters to this person? What gets them up in the morning excited to work with kids? What do they want to do? What is their vision? What's their dreams for education? And truthfully, to find that, we got to ask the right questions. So let's talk about these 5 questions. Number 1, what's your definition of social justice and how does it relate to education? Number 2, why do you want to work here at this school with these students? And in my case, students of color, low-income students, students who've been disenfranchised. Number 3, thinking about public education, what's something that's wrong with it that you want to be a part of fixing? Number 4, why do you think the dropout rate for kids of color and low-income students are so high? And lastly, number 5, when a student puts up this wall, this barrier, shuts down, checks out, disengages, what are you going to do? What tools do you want to pull from? The next thing I want to talk about is the hiring committee. Ask yourself, who is a part of finding great people for your schools? Is it just you? Do you bring in teachers? Do you bring in students? Do you bring in parents, community members, your secretary staff, custodians? Who might you involve in this process? How do you get teachers in the room in front of their future colleagues? Lastly, just to reflect on a few lessons I've learned over the years, do not sleep. Don't sleep on the demo lesson. If possible, put this person in front of real life kids in a real life classroom and see what happens. And then afterwards, ask the kids, hey, what'd you guys think? Do you think they can hang? Do you think they can keep your interests? Do you think they're the ones that are going to help us? How do they compare to people we've had in the past? See what they say. Second lesson, if you know what type of educational vision you have for your school, let them know. If you know what type of adult culture you're building at your school, let them know. Is that a place where people are really close and personal and goes to their fellow and colleagues' kids' birthdays? Is it a place where people are calling out patriarchy and sexism and white supremacy? Should they be comfortable with that? The last lesson I'll say is do not sleep and do not miss out on making sure that folks have their right paperwork in order. I feel like I used to be all about, do you got the right mindset? Do you really want to be here? Do you have experience? Do I think you have the X factor, the it factor? And I wasn't really giving enough attention to the right paperwork, the credentials, the right forms. And truthfully, our kids in inner cities, they do not deserve so much turnover. Different person, different person, different person. We need building blocks to move forward. We're engineering for equity. And in order to do that, we can't have different people in every day or every year. So make sure that we got people who are committed to staying and have done the right thing so that they can help you be a part of transforming your school. So in general, we're talking about asking the right questions, going deeper, getting the right people in the committee, and then really, I would say from lessons learned, making sure that you let them know what they're getting into, what type of school you're building. Put that all together, and I hope that you can use these tools to find the right people for your schools. Our kids deserve it. The data says that we need to be doing better. That starts with leadership. That starts, in this case, with the right interviews. So if you liked what you heard, check out some more interesting information, posts, school highlights, leader highlights, all at culturallyresponsive.leadership.com. Come back, check us out, tell a friend, help us build this collective so that we are sharing the best practices amongst each other, moving our schools forward, moving our kids forward. I hope you have a good day. Peace.